So now we are at the last canto of the book of yoga, the 7th canto. It's a relatively short canto. There are only 2 sections, running into roughly 250 lines in all. The previous background is, as you know, Savitri was told to annul herself that only God may be. That was the nirvana which was recommended to Savitri. Annul herself all that is born of ignorance, which is death bound, which is born of inconscience, has to be emptied out. Only when it is emptied out, then only the divine light and the divine power can reside in it. Savitri had already established the divine power in her soul, but establishing the divine power in the soul is not sufficient because the outward nature, the physical nature, the vital nature, the mental nature, they remain as they are. They had to be also offered to the divine so that the divine can come and reside in all the parts of our being, outer being also. So she was told to annul herself. Annul means emptying out everything. Annul herself, that only God be. None else. Empty out the cup and only the divine joy, divine nectar can be filled in that cup. Savitri has done that. But there was a little problem also. When she is emptying herself out, it should not mean that she should get totally lost into the divine. If she gets lost into the divine, then the purpose for which she has taken this birth does not get fulfilled. She has to do some work here. She has to carry out the divine mission for which she has taken the mortal birth. And therefore, there is a difficulty annulling herself and yet remaining here. Savitri had number of choices. She could merge and disappear, laya, into the divine. Laya into the divine, it means she is totally out of the creation. Those who follow only the path of knowledge, knowledge alone, they merge into the self, into the divine, and disappear from this world. So the Isha Upanishad says that is not a proper way of doing things at all. By mrityu, by death, you cross ignorance. By knowledge, you should not get merged into the divine because you have work to do upon the earth. You see. So Savitri was conscious of that mission of hers, and she could have flipped this way or that way, turned like a fulcrum, either this side or that side, into the dissolution, into the creation again. She remembers at that moment of time that she cannot go away, she has to do some work, and therefore that memory holds her back into the creation. A similar thing had happened in the case of Ashwapati also. When Ashwapati is about to witness the absolute realization, get the absolute realization, he could have disappeared into the absolute. But then the memory climbs back to him from the lower planes. Look, Ashwapati, you can't go away like that. You have come here for a work. You cannot disappear into the absolute. And therefore that memory brings him back again to the creation. A world's desire is there always with him, and that world's desire, Jagat Ichcha, is that with him which will hold him back. The Jagat Ichcha is not really something which is attachment, but it is something which is aspiring for the divine. It is that desire of the world, aspiring for the divine, which holds him back here, and he comes back to the earth, meets the Divine Mother, gets the boon from her, and of course then the story begins. Savitri is born. Now Savitri in her yoga is also at a very similar point. She could have disappeared, but the memory is there in her and she comes back. She comes back because the spirit which governs Savitri will not allow Savitri to go away. Savitri may have memory, may not have memory, but her spirit will not allow for Savitri to disappear into the divine, into God Himself. She has to do something. Therefore, we will begin this canto with a very pertinent description. In the little hermitage, in the forest heart, in the sunlight and the moonlight and the dark, the daily human life went plodding on, even as before with a small, unchanging world, and its spare outward body of routine and happy, quiet, ascetic peace. Happy, quiet, ascetic peace. It is in that hermitage, in the forest where they were dwelling, there is a happy, quiet, ascetic peace of contentment also is seen. Now this line, in the little hermitage, he says little. Little because Savitri had experienced the divine, or the entire vastness of the creation, of the infinity. Compared with that, this little spot, this little place where she is staying is practically nothing, is insignificant. But in the little hermitage, in the forest heart, you know the Shalva forest with all the green trees, emerald trees and all that thick forest, in the sunlight and the moonlight and the dark. So this is the hermitage, this is the forest, these are the locations, space, sthana, where things were happening. Here sunlight, moonlight and the dark. In the sequence of time, sun is there, night is there, sun is there. So in terms of space and time, the problem is specified. So in space and time, the daily human life went on in the usual plodding manner, struggling, trying to move forward constantly. It goes on like that. So Savitri had that divine experience of total, absolute God. But here now the daily human life plodding on, struggling, moving forward day by day like that, you see, on, even as before with a small, unchanging world. See, all that the small life is busy is with small, unchanging works. Get up in the morning, do your daily things, take your breakfast, go to the forest, pull water, clean the house, light the kitchen fire. All those things are daily things are going on, say, daily life. And a spare outward body of routine and happy, quiet of ascetic peace. So in that the human life is plodding on. Daily human life is plodding on constantly, you see. Now, the contrast is sharp, is purposeful. The contrast is, well, she has the divine experience of infinity and eternity, in contrast to that now here in the mortal world she is living in the daily common life, you see. That is the basic idea here. But poetically, these are very beautiful lines. See the rhythm. In the little hermitage, in the forest heart, in the sunlight and the moonlight and the dark. See, there is a rhythm kind of a thing. In the sunlight and the moonlight and the dark. A purposeful rhythm is built into that thing, you see. In the little, see, metrically in the little, it is short, long. In the little, short, long, it's called anapest. So that starts with anapest. Little hermitage, her, that is short, long, am. Hermitage is short, prick. In the forest, again here, in the forest, anapest. So you have got anapest, you have got am, you have got prick. Now again, anapest, forest heart, I am. So the rhythm is very beautifully built, you see, in the little hermitage, in the forest heart. It goes on like that, you see. Now, this word hermitage can be uttered. The voice can be, it can be hermitage. It can be the hermitage. You see, it can be also hermitage. But that would not go, hermitage would not go with the rhythm which is there in the line. You see, you read now in the little hermitage, see the whole thing is gone. The sound value is totally different. It is lost totally. You have to read as hermitage, you see, hermitage, in the forest heart. So that is the beauty of poetry. And again, see the thing, how many times T is repeated. T is here, T is here, T is here, T is here. That is the alliteration of T. The sound carries forward the entire movement. T, 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 T. Same thing, hermitage. H is there, H is there. So, see, the poetic technique is fully utilized in bringing out this very simple line. There is nothing complicated in this line. In the little hermitage, in the forest heart, the T, the H's, the S's, all those things build up the rhythm and the movement of sound to really create the entire atmosphere of the hermitage, you see. So that way I would say poetically, this is a marvelous line, you see. Very unusual kind of a line, you see, with all this possibility. In the sunlight, again here, in the sunlight, in the sunlight. That is short, long, anapaes. So you have got two anapaes here, the third anapaes is here. Then in the sunlight, light and I, that is short, prick. Again, the moonlight, the I am. The moonlight, and again short here, and the dark, I am. So see, the variation of feet removes the monotony of poetry which is there if it is the same thing. Again the line here, the daily human life went plodding on, went plod. See, there is a kind of a thrust here. Went plodding. Both the things, both the syllables are stressed. That is spondy. So in the moment of I am, in the daily, the human life went plodding on. So you got am, suddenly spondy, again period. So that builds up the entire rhythm. So poetically, this is a wonderful sentence actually. If you see the in the little hermitage, in the forest heart, in the sunlight, in the moonlight, and the dark, the daily human life went plodding on, even as before, with a small, unchanging world, and its fair outward body of routine, and happy quiet of ascetic peace. So the whole atmosphere, becomes so serene, so sweet. At the same time, there is a kind of a wideness of tranquil movement throughout the scene. Tranquil movement is there, see. The old beauty smiled of the terrestrial scene. Now he says old beauty. Actually, it is not really old in the sense that it is very old and it has become, it's not that kind of a thing. The old beauty, Savitri had gone into the divine arena. Therefore, when she comes back, all this forest, all these things around her are the old beauty for her. She has recollected now, oh yes, I have been here, I have been here, I have been here. So in that sense, it is old. You see. The beauty is the same, but now she has come from her consciousness to look at it, and therefore old. Old beauty, smile of the terrestrial scene. So the whole terrestrial scene now is in front of her, and it is smiling at Savitri. Smiling, why? What a wonderful thing Savitri has done. Nature is happy, the whole creation is happy that Savitri has gone to the Absolute and decided to come back, smile. She too was her old gracious self to men. She stands for Savitri. This was Savitri. She too was her old gracious. Old means it is not Savitri has suddenly become very old. She is still that young girl, maybe around 22, 23. She is still but old because she had gone to the infinity and come back, and therefore she is recovering her old consciousness, her own physical senses, perception. She too was her old gracious self to men, because it is for men that she has come back. She could have easily gone away, but she has come back because of this earth. You see. The ancient mother clutched her child to her breast. That is the important thing. Who is this ancient mother? It is the nature, earth herself, who brings back Savitri. She is holding back. Savitri, you cannot go away. So she is pulling her back into this world, the ancient mother, because it is the ancient mother who has been supervising, guiding Savitri's yoga all along. For the purposes, for the sake of ancient mother, she did this yoga. And at this point, it is she now who is pulling her back into this creation and clutched her child to her breast. She is holding her. Savitri, you cannot go away. You have to stay here. You have some work to do for me in this world. Therefore, she is holding back like that, pressing her close in her environing arms. So all the surroundings which are there, they are holding back Savitri, as if earth, ever the same, could forever keep the living spirit and body of her clasp. So it is as though she could always keep her back with her, living spirit and body in her clasp. Savitri's living spirit, Savitri's living body could be always kept back by the ancient mother, as if death were not there, nor end, nor change. It is something which death cannot undo. There is no end for Savitri being with the ancient mother. She cannot change from that, you see. Then the living spirit and body in her clasp, as if death were not there. So indirectly, the poet is also already telling that yes, Savitri has triumphed in her yoga. She has the full realization what she should do. What is the realization? That death would not be there. He is kind of anticipating that tomorrow Satyavan is going to die, but he is not there. He will be always there. He is not going to die. Death were not there, you see. Accustomed only to read outward signs, none saw aught new in her, none divined her state. They saw a person who was only God's vast, a still being or a mighty nothingness. Accustomed only, what do we see all around? We see routine things, common things, and judge things in a common manner. We don't have deeper insight. We don't have perception that things can change and can be different from what we are. So, accustomed only to outward signs, none saw. All the people in the forest, the rishis were there, the sages were there, the disciples were there, Savitri's parents-in-law were there, Savitri's her own husband is there, but none saw that a great change has taken place in Savitri. Outwardly, it is not known to them at all. None saw anything anywhere. That Savitri has changed. Savitri is there now, totally different, but our sight, our perception are not in a position to really understand the kind of a change which has taken place in Savitri. Nothing has changed. None saw aught. None saw anything new in her. She looked to them as usual girl, doing all the household and routine things as she was doing all along, you see. None saw aught new in her. None divined her state, that she had attained that divinity, that kind of a divine state. None could see that thing at all. They saw a person where was only God's vast. Yes, she is a human person there, and they see only the human Savitri there, but actually it is not human Savitri anymore. It is the vastness of God Himself who is now embodied in Savitri. Vast God is now living completely in Savitri. Why? Only God's was, because Savitri was told, annul yourself that only God be. She was told, let only God be. So, people do not see that there is only God in her and nothing else. People are not able to understand that thing at all. A still being, or a mighty nothingness. To all, she was the same perfect Savitri. Obviously, Savitri had been always a loving girl. Savitri was always perfect in her actions and feelings and emotions and expressions. And they saw, well, this is the same kind of a Savitri who is now in front of them. To all, she was the same perfect Savitri, a greatness and a sweetness and a light poured out from her upon her little world. None saw that greatness, none saw that she was somebody else, but there was what? A greatness and a sweetness and a light. See again the rhythm, a greatness and a sweetness and the rhythm is I am Pirik, I am Pirik, I am Pirik. Short, long, short, 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 long, short, 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 long. That's the rhythm again. A greatness and a sweetness and a light poured out from her upon her little world. So constantly Madhurya and Mahat, they are constantly, and the Prakash, they are constantly pouring out from her person. A greatness and sweetness and light Prakash poured out from her upon her little world. The whole world is filled up because of that thing. Life showed to all the same familiar face. But all people see, well, this is my Savitri, yes, she is the same Savitri. People don't understand that she is pouring out greatness and sweetness and light. People don't have that perception. They are not developed that spiritual faculty to see the change which has taken place in Savitri. Life showed to all the same familiar face. Her acts followed the old unaltered round. She is doing all her constantly, her daily routine works the same. She spoke the words that she was wont to speak. The way she was speaking earlier to everybody, in the same manner she is speaking to everybody, as if nothing has changed in her. She spoke the words that she was used to speak to everybody, and did the things that she had always done, pulling the water from the well, carrying all the household duties, sweeping the floor, lighting the kitchen fire. She has been doing constantly all those things, and did the things that she had always done. So in spite of all these great spiritual experiences and realizations, Savitri is engaged in daily acts as if nothing has changed in her. Her eyes looked out on earth's unchanging face. Around her soul's muteness, all moved as of old. A vacant consciousness watched from within, empty of all, but bare reality. While Savitri is doing, she is doing it that everything inside is silent, vacant. There is nothing except some bare reality which is there. But otherwise, as if there is nothing inside. Her eyes looked out on earth's unchanging face, the same tree, the same flower, the same mountain, the same bird. She is seeing them constantly. Around her soul's muteness, all moved as of old. Her soul is silent, is quiet, and she is watching and seeing all those things. A vacant consciousness watched, as if there is nothing in her consciousness now. Empty. She was told to empty herself. Watched from within. What the emptiness, what it saw, that consciousness, what did it see from within? That everything was empty, except reality, except the presence of God. Everything is empty in her case, you see. There was no will behind the word or act. She is doing all that thing, but she is not exercising her will, her sankalpa, her power to do things. She is silent about that. No thought formed in her brain to guide the speech. So it is not now that mind is thinking and telling Savitri, do this, Savitri, do this, Savitri, do this. Nothing is there. An impersonal emptiness walked and spoke in her. So if the emptiness itself is a kind of a person, yet impersonal, without any attachment, without any connection with anybody. The emptiness is a person who is impersonal. See, this is the mystic poetry, so you can't explain. So impersonal person is walking in Savitri, and whatever she speaks, it is that person. And spoke in her something perhaps unfelt, unseen, and what is that impersonal person speaking, which you cannot feel, which cannot see, which is not known to us. It is that constantly seeing. Guarded the body for his future use. Savitri is guarded by that impersonal person. Savitri, I am there to protect you all. You have work to do, and you have to do work to fulfill that thing. Or nature moved in her whole stream of force, the way things are happening, as if it is moving there. Perhaps she made conscious in the breast the miraculous mind. So it is such a kind of an impersonal personality, such an emptiness, that as if it is holding in it the entire nothingness, nihil, zero, the whole emptiness. What is she holding? Zero. The divine zero himself she is holding in her origin. Origin, that divine zero is the origin of our souls. It is from there that the creation has started. It is from there that we have arrived here on the scene, our student. And souls and some of the vast worlds even, the womb and grave of thought, a cipher of God. He says now clearly, cipher of God, that nihil is the cipher of God, zero of God, shunya. From that shunya ceasing, and it is the womb, it is the garbha from which all our things are coming out. From that shunya, that garbha, whatever is happening is happening. A zero circle of being's totality. So it is a zero circle like that, yet that zero holding everything in it. The shunya is not empty in that sense. Although it is shunya, although it is zero, it is not empty. It is holding in it everything. What does that mean? It means that everything is present in it as a potentiality. It has not been expressed, it has not come out into manifestation, but it is holding in it. That is the zero. Zero is emptiness which has not come out in manifestation. So that is why it is a kind of an emptiness, zero circle of being's totality. It is that emptiness, that it is that impersonal person, we have seen that impersonal emptiness that used Savitri for its work, that it stands for that impersonal emptiness, used her speech and acted in her acts. So what is Savitri speaking? Savitri is speaking what that impersonal emptiness wants her to speak. The words which are coming out from her mouth are the words of the impersonal emptiness. Same way, all her acts are coming from it. It was beauty in a limb. So the same, she is really beautiful. Why she is beautiful? Because it is that impersonal emptiness which is expressing itself in her body. Life in her breath. The original mystery wore her human face. The mystery of creation, God's creation. It is that which has taken the form of Savitri, and it is that which is showing itself in the face of Savitri. Thus was she lost within to separate itself. Her mortal ego perished in God's night. Naturally, Savitri has no ego now. All mortality is totally gone, completely gone. Only a body was left, so only the physical now left there. See, the ego shell afloat mid drift and foam of the world. See, a sea or dream washed by motionless sense in a figure of unreal reality. See, that is the oxymoron. See, asatya in satya. It is that which is holding everything. You see, completely unreal reality. You see. That is the result of Savitri's nirvana, Savitri's vanishing into God, you see. And impersonal, again he says, it was impersonal emptiness. Now an impersonal foresight could already see, she is seeing, but it is impersonal. Who is seeing? That emptiness. Who already see the future, what is going to happen. She is already getting the vision, the pursuits of that thing. In the unthinking knowledge of the spirit, even now it seems nigh done, almost done, inevitable, closed. The individual die, the cosmos pass. So it is seeing that all this will disappear completely. This gone, the transcendental groove myth. Therefore, what is Satchidananda? That itself becomes myth. That itself becomes a kind of illusion when all is gone like that. The Holy Ghost without the Father and Son. Now this is the reference to the Christian Trinity. Holy Ghost, the universal Father, God, and Son, the incarnate power in His creation. So it is only now the universal and the Father and the Son have gone away, or a substratum of what once had been being that never willed to bear a word, restored to its original lowliness, impassive soul, silent, intangible. See how he is piling up, description on description in one single line. Yet all was not extinct in this deep loss. The being travelled not towards nothingness. Now that is the beauty of Savitri's realization. Everything is gone, yet nothing is lost. Nothing is lost because she has become one with God. She has identified herself as one. A being travelled not towards nothing. So nothingness, she is not going away into laya, into disappearance, becoming zero, you see. It is meant, she is meant for some work here. Nothing was lost. There was some high surpassing secrecy. What is then? Some kind of a secrecy, divine knowledge, divine power, divine light, which is held back from everybody. She herself doesn't know, but she is living in the secrecy. And when she sat alone with Satyavan, her moveless mind with its search and drown, in the hush of the profound and intimate night, she turned to the face of a veiled, voiceless throne, hid in the dumb recesses of the heart, or waiting beyond the last peak climbed by a thorn. Unseen itself, you see the struggling world, and prompts her quest, but cares not to be found. Out of that distant vast, came a reply. Now this is the description of surpassing secrecy. What is that holding for Savitri? It is not known. Savitri is doing all her yoga in the night. Her husband is sleeping in the bed. Savitri is awake within. Therefore, and when she sat alone with Satyavan in the night, you see, her moveless mind, she is not perturbed at all. Her mind is silent mind, which is whereas in contrast to Savitri's mind is moveless mind, silent mind. In contrast that Satyavan's mind is a mind which searches and strives, which looks for something, which is struggling for something, the human mind. Whereas here Savitri is now the silent mind, a quality she has got from the Divine Himself. In the hush of the profound intimate night, profound because it is charged with a secrecy. Profound is charged, intimate night. She is in company with her husband, intimate, close. Also that hush, that silence is very intimate to Savitri in the night. She turned to the face of a veiled, voiceless truth. What is Savitri looking for in that night? She is looking for the face of truth. She turned to the face of a veiled, voiceless truth. Truth who is not speaking out. It is looking for that person. Means truth here is personified and has a face, and she is looking for that, and she is turning towards it, you see. hid in the dumb recesses of the... Where is that voice? Where is that truth living? It is living in the recesses of the heart. Hridaya Guha. Deep within, it is living that truth. It is looking for that dumb. It is not speaking out. It is silent. It is quiet. Or waiting beyond the last big line by thought. If it is not there, maybe it is somewhere high up on the peak. On some shikhara of mountain, she is sitting there and looking for that. Or waiting beyond the peak, line by thought. Unseen itself it sees the struggling world. Unseen, the truth is not seen, but that itself sees the struggling world. The truth is not seen, but the truth is seeing what is happening here. The struggling world which is there, that is being seen by the truth which is not seen by us. We don't see God, but God is seeing us, what we are doing, you see. Unseen itself, it sees the struggling world and prompts our quest. It is that which says, go do, go this, do this, go here, go there, see, and prompts our quest, but cares not to be found. Out of that distant vast came a reply. So Savitri gets an answer from that distant vast of truth. What does she see? Something unknown, unreached, inscrutable, send down the messages of its bodiless light. Constantly Savitri gets intimations, Savitri gets messages, Savitri gets adesha, Savitri gets command, do this, go do this, constantly. Something unknown, unreached, that something essentially stands for truth, what we have seen just now. Send down the messages of his bodiless light. It doesn't send, it doesn't have a body, it doesn't have a figure, but it is sending messages of light. Cast lightning flashes of a thought, not ours. So we think that we are thinking, but those thoughts are coming from that light, from that soul. Crossing the immobile silence of her mind is silent, and through that silence, those thoughts of light are entering into her constantly. In its might of irresponsible sovereignty, that is the most miraculous phrase. Irresponsible sovereignty. Yes, all mightiness, all kingliness there, all lordliness there, the whole thing is fully under his control. It is irresponsible. It can do whatever it wants, yet it is not irresponsible. It is not responsible in the way we judge by our mental ideas and conceptions and limitations. It is not. It does whatever it does in the truth perception of things. This is the rhythm, this is the way, this is the right thing, it should happen that way. So in that freedom, it does whatever it has to do. Therefore, to us, it may look irresponsible, but it is following its own law of truth and truth rhythm. In its might, you see, in its strength of irresponsible sovereignty, it seized on speech to give the flaming shape, made beat the heart of wisdom in a word. So when Savitri is speaking, it is that irresponsible sovereignty which is speaking out and giving expression to what she is speaking, made beat the heart of wisdom. The word is speaking, the word is a heart, and that heart of the word is beating because of that irresponsible sovereignty. It's a complex connection, you see. Basically, it is a word. Word has wisdom. And this word has a heart. And that heart is beating. And in the beat of that, she is speaking. And giving flaming shapes to whatever she sees. And spoke immortal things. What does she speak? She speaks immortal things through mortal lips. Through mortal lips, she is speaking immortal things. Because of that sovereignty, because of that irresponsible sovereignty, you see. So sometimes she will speak those things which come straight from the source of light, divine light, and she speaks freely. The heart is beating with those things. So she will speak, or else, or listening to the sages in the woods. There are rishis there are munis there are accomplished, realized souls there in the ashramas around. Hermitages is a group of hermitages. A lot of people are staying there, all the rishis are there. So she would listen to their words, all the realized souls which are there in the hermitages, she will listen to their words and they will converse, they will exchange notes of their spiritual relation. Yes, I have seen this, I have seen that. They will exchange their notes, all the rishis, they will tell each other what kind of realizations they have and how they have to go further. Listening to the sages of the wood, in question and in answer, broke from her. So while they are discussing and exchanging notes, something will break out from her. She will speak something high, strange, revealing, impossible to men. What she speaks, nobody could have imagined those things. Impossible to men. Such words, such revelation she will give to those people when they are in company. Something or someone secret and remote took hold of her body for his mystic use. It is not Savitri who is speaking. It is somebody who has caught hold of Savitri, and it is through Savitri that he is speaking now to all. And in conversations with the rishis there around, she is telling such wonderful things that they wonder at it. Where from Savitri got this knowledge? Where from she got this realization, these spiritual attainments, how they have come to her. Something or someone secret and remote took hold of her body for his mystic use. Her mouth was seized to channel ineffable truths. It is not Savitri who is speaking now. It is somebody through her mouth who is speaking out. Knowledge unthinkable found and utterance. A knowledge that cannot come by thought, it is that which found an expression through her lips. Her body was used by that soul. Well, actually, you know that in the case of Mother, whenever she was giving talks in the playground, in those active days of 1950s, she said that I am speaking there, but I am not really speaking. It is through me Sri Aurobindo is speaking. It is through me he is speaking all those things, you see. We wonder that Mother is speaking, but we don't know that it is Sri Aurobindo who is there behind and speaking through her lips. Her mouth was seized to channel ineffable truth, knowledge unthinkable found in eternal. That is why whatever Mother has spoken is authentic knowledge, the realized knowledge of the soul itself, you see. That is the divine word itself which comes out from those lips, you see. Her mouth was seized to channel ineffable truths. But in the case of Savitri, there were people, there were rishis there around who could see, who could perceive that what Savitri is speaking, the truth which is coming out of her mouth. They could see, they could understand, they could grasp a bit of it. I don't know really how many in the playground would really understand that aspect when Mother was speaking. When Mother was speaking. There were realized souls in the hermitages where Savitri was living. Maybe a couple of them in the playground when the Mother was speaking. But most of us, okay, we heard stories and went away like that, you see. Yeah. Astonished by a new enlightenment invaded by a streak of the Absolute, they marveled at her, for she seemed to know what they had claimed at times afar. They marveled at her. All those great realized rishis, Gautama and many other rishis who were there, the ashramas there, they say that we had done tapasya for years and years and years, but we don't realize that kind of a thing. And with such ease, with such intimacy, Savitri is uttering those words. Where from has that knowledge come to Savitri? They are marveling at her. They are wondering how Savitri got those realizations, you see. For she seemed to know what they had only glimpsed. Only once in a while, and that also they discern, oh, that great, great, great supramental truth. Some little idea only. But Savitri is speaking as if she is living in that world and she is a denizen, a citizen of those countries, you see. These thoughts were formed not in her listening brain. Whatever she was speaking, they were formed. Because these thoughts did not come in her brain. We manufacture thoughts. In the case of Savitri, they came directly to her. These thoughts were found not in her listening brain. Her vacant heart was like a stringless harp. See what a contrast. You see, this is a wonderful line from the point of poetry. Her vacant heart was like a stringless harp. Now imagine a harp. Harp has to have strings to play music, to play notes. But here is a harp which has no strings at all. It's empty. And therefore it is a vacant heart. Her heart is like a vacant harp now. Now we have created harps with maybe how many? 200 strings. One of the recent harps has as many as 200 strings. They will play different kind of notes in different octaves, this octave, that octave, that octave. So, but Savitri's heart is without strings and it plays the music of God, you see. Impassive, the body claim not its own voice, but let the luminous greatness through it pass. So it is not physical body of Savitri who is speaking out, but that body is offering itself for the divine voice to enter through it and express to itself. A dual power at being occult pole, still acted, nameless and invisible, a divine emptiness was their emptiness. A dual power, the divine and this worldly, both of them are acting together. Her divine emptiness, she has become so empty. It is Divya Shunyata. You see, it is that kind of a Divya Shunyata in which she is uttering, and it is that Divya Shunyata which has become the instrument, yantra. Inconscient nature, what are the dual power? Is question. First is the inconscient nature. Inconscient nature dealt with the world it had made, and using still the body's instrument, slipped through the conscious void she had become. This is one power. The second is the superconscious mystery. What is here? What is up there? The superconscious mystery. Through that void mission is word to touch the thoughts of men. As yet, this great impersonal speech was rare. Now, Savitri is speaking in that manner, but it is a rare thing. Such a speech doesn't happen every day, extremely rare. Only great divine person, and it is again impersonal. Impersonal means although physically the instrument is Savitri as a person, yet it is coming from an impersonal source. But now the unmoving, wide spiritual spirit, unmoving, which is still, which is quiet, which is not disturbed, which is not stirred by anything, in that wide spiritual spirit, in which her mind survived tranquil and bare, admitted a traveler from the cosmic breadth. So now, from the cosmic dimension, something can enter into Savitri. A thought came through draped as an outer void. So Savitri is speaking, she is allowing that thing from the cosmic breadth to enter, and what is coming is a traveler only. Who came? A thought. Through the draped as an outer voice. So the thought is there and it is speaking from the world. Now that thought, it stands for that thought. It called not for the witness of the mind. So it doesn't need somebody to certify, yes, I am here, mind, etc. It spoke not to the hushed receiving heart. That thought does not speak to the receiving heart. It came direct to the pure perception seed. So what is pure in us? Pure perception, it is born of our soul. The psychic perception, that is the purest perception. So it came direct to the pure perception seed and only center now of consciousness. So there is nothing now except that psychic being which is a pure perception which can receive all this. So a thought is coming there. If center could be where all seem only space, no more shut in by body, no more shut in by body's walls and gaze, her being a circle without circumference. It is a circle, but it is not complete. So it can keep on expanding, you see. Now this contrast is just the charm of mystic poetry. You have to understand the sense of it. There cannot be a circle without a circumference. You see, it has to have a circle is a closed line. See, but here is something different. You see, already now surpass all cosmic bound and more spread into infinity. Because it is spreading more and more into infinity, therefore there is no circumference. It is spreading constantly into infinity. The circle is as if kind of widening, you see. Being made without circumference, already now surpass all cosmic bound, all the limitations of the cosmic manifestation of Jagat, of this world. Everything is past. Your thoughts, your mind, your power, your light, your knowledge, your love, your duty, your everything is as a widening into that infinity. This being was its own unbounded world, a world without form or feature or circumstance. It is not governed by situation. It has no form. It is not arupa. It is not nirupa also. It has a roop, but which can constantly keep on growing, expanding, you see. Without form or feature. It has no quality. It is without quality, yet it has something of its own. It had no ground, no wall, no roof of thought. So there is nothing like a roof. It is open all the while to the infinity of sky, in a silence, motionless and illimitable. There was no person there, no centered mind, no seed of feeling on which be it event or objects wrought and shaped reactions to stress. There was no motion in this inner world. All was a still and even infinity. Everything is quiet. Yet going on, you see. In her, the unseen, the unknown, waited is our. Savitri has become so calm, so silent, so impersonal that now the unseen, adrashta, the unknown, ajnat, are waiting, is waiting, his hour to express and do work in Savitri. Savitri has now completely given up everything. She is now an empty slate and he can write whatever he wants to write on that empty slate, you see. She is given a blank piece of paper, a new doc, and you can keep on writing now in the word format whatever you want, you see. Completely, you see. So that is the condition of Savitri. Savitri is brought back by the ancient mother, the spirit of the earth who has been there right from the creation. She has been brought back. Yet Savitri has that God's nothingness in her. It is in that nothingness, whatever is happening now in the case of Savitri. So now Savitri is the perfect person for that nothingness, for the divine, to express himself the way he wants anything to be expressed. But now she sat by sleeping Satyavan. So under that condition, Satyavan is sleeping there and Savitri is watching him. Awake within, and the enormous night surrounded her with an unknowable swirl. What is going to happen tomorrow? Savitri is in the dark, enormous night. Savitri has given up completely, but tomorrow Satyavan is sleeping all right. He will get up in the morning and the day of his death is there waiting for him. On that day he is going to die. He is destined to die. Satyavan does not know it. In fact, it is only Savitri who is aware of this event. She was foretold, it was foretold by Narad that on this day returning, Satyavan must die. Savitri was aware of it. She is sleeping, she is now knowing that that day is coming. But now she sat by sleeping, Satyavan, awake within. She is alert. She is now ready to face the eventuality. She is there to face the attack of death, the hostile force which will act upon. And the enormous night surrounded her. That is why the enormous night because of death there. With the unknowable swars, a voice began to speak from her own heart that was not hers, yet mastered thought and sense. Something started speaking in Savitri, but who is speaking? That is not Savitri who is speaking. Somebody else is speaking. Mastered her thought and sense. Somebody else had taken possession of Savitri, and it is he who is expressing whatever it wants to express through Savitri. Mastered her thought and her sense. As it spoke, all changed within her and without. So while Savitri is sitting there by the side of his husband, who is still asleep, everything within her changed completely. As it spoke, all changed within her and without. All was, all lived. She felt all being one. This world, that world, everything, it is God's world, everywhere, all one. The world of unreality ceased to be mithya, ashashvata, whatever is there, all that has stopped. There is nothing transient, nothing which is fleeting, everything is stopped, nothing which is an illusory thing. The world of unreality ceased to be. There was no more a universe built by mind. Now, world of unreality. Who has created this world of unreality? It is not God who has created the world of unreality. It is built by mind. It is our mental notion of things, our conception of things. It is that which has created this unreality within us. The world of unreality ceased to be. There was no more a universe built by mind, convicted as a structure or a sign. A spirit, a being, saw created thing and cast itself into unnumbered form. But who has made now actually? It is the spirit who saw things, who knows things. Why this whole creation? Why the mind? Why the life? Why the matter? Why trees, flowers, gardens? All these things, all these patterns. Why? The spirit knows it and casts itself into unnumbered form. That is the whole purpose of the spirit. Spirit was alone. Spirit wanted to be many, and therefore he has created many forms, and constantly it keeps on form. For what? So that he can live in many forms. The spirit can express itself in many forms, in many qualities. And was what it saw and made, all now became an evidence of one stupendous truth, a truth in which negation had no place, a being and a living consciousness, a stark and absolute reality. So everywhere it is that reality alone which is seen by Savitri, which is experienced by Savitri. There is nothing which is not real at all. There the unreal could not find a place. Well, this is kind of an elaboration of the same thing. There, the unreal could not find a place. The sense of unreality was slain. The sense of unreality was slain. How? Savitri, he has already said, where does the unreality come from? The unreality comes from mind. It is that sense of mind which is removed, and it is replaced by what? By pure perception, by the spiritual knowledge, by direct identification with things and objects. The sense of unreality was slain. There, all was conscious, made of the infinite. All had a substance of eternity. All had a substance of eternity. You see, that's a whole beautiful thing here. Padartha is full of Brahman. That is what she sees everywhere. Everywhere. It is that. All had a substance of eternity. Brahman, Brahman, Brahman. Everywhere is what she sees. Yet, this was the same, indecipherable. It seemed to pass from it universe like a dream, vanishing forever into the original void. But it is not as if it was creating something which was vanishing into the original void because of the mind. But this was no more some vague ubiquitous point or a cipher of vastness in unreal knot. It was the same, but now no more same for the living to the living class of her recovered soul. It was herself, it was the self of all, her Atman, which is the Atman of everybody. It is that identification which has come to her. It was herself, it was the self of all. It was the reality of existing things. So what is remaining now? Everything which is there is real nature, is real truth basis, truth content is what is observed and seen. It was the consciousness of all that lived and felt and saw. It was timelessness and time. It was the bliss of formlessness in form, whether it has a rupa or it has no rupa. It is what? It is the same ananda. Whether it is form or formless, it is the same joy of expression which is there present. Rupa or no rupa, arupa, it has the ananda everywhere. It can be formless ananda, it can be ananda with form. It is the same thing. It was the bliss of formlessness and form. See? Formlessness, arupa, form, rupa. It was the same bliss there everywhere. It was all love and one beloved's arm. So it is same prema everywhere, everywhere, everywhere the same. It was sight and thought in one all-seeing mind. The mind which sees everything, it is its sight, its thought, which Savitri sees everywhere around now here. It was joy of being on the peace of God. It was joy of being on the peace of God. Now here, grammatically, there is a little difficulty in this line. It was joy of being on the peace of God. It could be read like this. It was joy of being, joy where? On the peace of God. Being on the peace of God, being joy of being, that I am there, I am joy on the peace of God. That is one way, if you read it, it was joy of being on the peace of God. Or else you can read, it was joy of being on the peaks. See, it makes difference. You see, it was joy of being on the peaks. Where? Of God, you see. Same sentence, it depends on how you read. It was joy of being on the peace of God.
Which one we take?
Pardon me?
Which one we take now? The first one. First one.
Which one I should take? I will take this. On the peak. Which peaks of God? I am on top of the world, see, in the seventh cloud or whatever you want to call it. It is that I will say. Which one you will take? Which one you will take?
Yes, also.
You will also take that. Because you see, it was joy of being. I mean, looks little dilute, not so forceful, so substantial. You see, it doesn't sound very substantial. It was joy. Okay, you are there. All right. Okay, you see that kind of a thing. Whereas joy of being on the peaks, see, is something which is achieved, which is obtained, which is
Being is the verb.
yes, yeah. Being is a verb will be, it was joy of, whereas joy of being is not that, it is noun. You see,
Now, verb.
yeah. Yeah. What does he translate?
Exactly same. You can take both.
He has put the same,
It was translated exactly like English. It means you can understand both.
no, but does the French translation give both the senses?
Yes.
Huh? Lucky.
C'était la joie d'être
Yeah.
sur les pics de Dieu. It could be both.
So both possible, okay. But for the sake of argument, if I put B capital, then you are done for. That double meaning is lost. You see, if I put B capital, then the whole charm is lost. In that case, by putting B capital, we have pinned down this thing to a noun, which is not desirable. You see, she passed beyond time into eternity, slipped out of space and became the infinite. Her being rose into unreachable heights and found no end of its journey in the self. So the self is endless, 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 infinite. So Atman, 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 she is traveling throughout. It plunged into the unfathomable deeps down below and found no end to the silent mystery. You go deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. Everything is Adbhuta, everything is Ascharya, everything is marvelous. It is silent mystery, constantly, you see. You see, what it means is that we talk of inconscience, we talk of mind, we talk of physical, we talk of mental, we talk of vital, we talk of levels and subconscious and all that thing. But ultimately, it is a silent mystery. It is there with something holding in itself which must come out. So that endless mystery is there even below, 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 down into the inconscient also. So she says everywhere it plunged into unfathomable dim and found no end to the silent mystery that held all world within one lonely breath, yet harbored all creation's multitude. She was all vastness and one measureless point, one measureless. She is a Bindu, but that Bindu extends everywhere. It cannot be measured. The dimensions cannot be measured at all, you see. Measureless point. You see, this is a beautiful line, measureless point, beautiful phrase, measureless point. See, a dot, zero, stop. You can't measure its dimensions at all. Yet it is measureless. Yet it is measureless. It has no limit at all, you see. The phrase, the word in Sanskrit conveys that sense, Bindu. She was a height beyond heights, a depth beyond depth. She is depth below depth, below depth, below depth. She is height, climbing up, climbing up, climbing up. She lived in the everlasting and was all that harbors death and bears the wailing of. She lived in the everlasting and was all. And that assures Savitri is somebody who is beyond death, who carries all the moments of this creation. She is all. Therefore, she is holding in herself death. Mrityu is somebody who is held by her. Death is a person who is now under the cover, in the hands of Savitri Sil, that harbors death and bears the wheeling of all contraries were true in one huge spirit, all contrary, day and night, pain and suffering and joy and happiness, powerlessness and weakness, powerlessness and strength, light and darkness, all the contrary, evil and good, all the contraries are nothing but its expression. In other words, there is a truth of good, it is also the truth of evil. Evil is not without its truth. Good, maybe we associate good with truth, but that does not mean that evil is without its truth. There is night, there is day. Day we understand, but there is the truth of darkness, there is the truth of night that we don't understand. So all these contraries find a kind of a oneness in her. All contraries were true in one huge spirit. The spirit does not make a distinction between night and day, between pain and joy. You see. Because even in pain there is a truth behind it. The spirit knows that. We don't experience, therefore we accuse truth, you see. Surpassing measure, change in circumstance, an individual one with cosmic self in the heart of transcendence, miracle, and the secret of world personality, was the creator and the Lord of all. So he is that world personality who is the creator and Lord of all. He is a master. He knows everything. Everything is under command. Mind was a single innumerable look upon himself and all that he became. Life was a drama and the vast stage. Life, drama of the spirit. Vast, that is theatre on which the action, the drama is performed. The universe, his body. Now this is something. The universe, his body. After all, this is God. And who is the soul? God himself is the soul. So you have got here mind, you have got life, you have got body, you have got soul. Mind, life, body and soul. All the four aspects of the cosmic Purusha are present here. All was one single immense reality. All these are one single reality. All is innumerable phenomenon. Her spirit saw the world as living God. The whole world, this creation, the Jagat, what we have been calling Mithya, Jagat Mithya. It's not that, it is living God. He is present there. It saw the one and knew that all was He. Yes, He, everywhere He. Vasudeva, Vasudeva, Vasudeva. That was the experience Shabindu had in Alipur jail, in the prisoner, in the people who are working in the court, the judge, everywhere he say only divine, 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 divine everywhere. He saw the one and knew that all was He. She knew Him as the absolute space, one with the self and ground of all things here, in which the world wanders seeking for the truth, guarded behind His face of ignorance. She followed Him to the march of endless time, through all the moments of time, through all the cycles, through all the ages, through yuga, she is following, but who is she seeing? Yes, He is marching from yuga to yuga. He is going from time to time, from time to time. It is He who is really moving around. All nature's happenings were events in her The heartbeats of the cosmos were her own. Her heart was, her love was wider than the universe. The whole world, the whole universe could be taken in her love. The heartbeats of the cosmos were her own. All beings thought and felt and moved in her. She inhabited the vastness of the world. Its distances were her nature's boundaries. Its closenesses her own life's intimacies. Her mind became familiar with its mind, its of the universe. Her body was her body's larger frame in which she lived and knew herself in it. One multitudinous is multitude. She was a single being, yet all things. She is present everywhere as a single being. It is now really the cosmic discovery of Savitri presence everywhere. Everywhere she is discovering herself, yes, Savitri, Savitri, Savitri. The world was spirit's wide circumference. The thoughts of others were her intimates. So what you are thinking, that she knows immediately. She doesn't have to think about, you don't have to explain. She looks at you and she knows immediately what you are thinking, what you are doing, what you are living, all actions, reactions. So, so we should be scared of her. She was a single being, yet all things. The world was a spirit's wide circumference. The thoughts of others were her inmate. Their feelings close to her universal heart. Their bodies, her many bodies, kin to her. She was no more herself, but all the world. That is the discovery, the cosmic discovery of Savitri, identifying herself with every object, with every creature, with every being in its creation. See, it is an identification not only of mind and thought, that I can listen to your thought, I can feel your feelings, I can hear, I can understand. It's not even the physical, understand your physical. Their bodies, her many bodies kin to her. It is that she has got. And their bodies, her many bodies kin to her. So it is not only the mental, the vital, but also the physical identity with everything she has already achieved. She was no more herself, but all the world. Out of the infinitudes, all came to her. Into the infinitude, sentient, she is spread. So everything comes from there, everything goes back to there. From Ananta, all things arrive, to Ananta, all things go back. Infinitude. Infinity was her own natural home. So in that Ananta she lives as if she is living in her own house, you see. It is her house. Nowhere she dwelt. Her spirit was everywhere. Is she here? Is she here? Is she here? No, Savitri is not here. Savitri is not here. Savitri is not here. Because she is there everywhere. We can't confine her only to this or to this or to this. She is there everywhere. Therefore, nowhere she dwelt. It means that she is dwelling really everywhere. Her spirit was everywhere. The distant constellations wheeled around her, so all the stars and galaxies, etc., they are going around her constantly. She is there everywhere. Earth saw her born. All worlds were her colonies. So every world, it is her empire, her sovereignty. They are all her colony. The mental world, the vital world, the physical world, whatever worlds you want to call, they are her colony. Yes, this is my colony of mind. Yes, this is my colony of my life force. This is my colony of Sukshma Deha. I stay here. She is there everywhere. Earth saw her born. All worlds were her colony. The greater worlds of life and mind were her. All nature reproduced her in its line. Its movements were large copies of her own. She was a single self of all these selves. She was in them and they were all in her. They were living in her. This first was an immense identity in which her own identity was lost. What seemed herself was an image of the whole. So she sees herself as Purna, complete, whatever their whole. She was a subconscious life of tree and flower. In tree and flowers she is there, in bird and animal she is there, in bee she is there. The outbreak of the honey bursts of spring, the spring bud is opening with its honey laughter, and it is she who is doing that. She burned the passion and splendor of the rose. So it is she who is really burning in flower. She burned the passion and splendor of the rose. She burned one tree. In the passion, second tree, and splendor, third, of both the rose. She burned, that is I am, in the passion, that is Anapest, and splendor, another Anapest of the Pyrrhic rose, I am. So that's the metrical break of this line. She burned the passion and splendor of the rose. See, it takes kind of a wide breath to cover everything in her. The line itself takes a longer breath. She burned the passion and splendor of the rose. See, I mean, you really take long time to breathe out this whole line. See, she was the red heart of the passion flower, the dream white of the lotus in its pool. Out of the subconscious life, she climbed to mind. So out of lower life, she was thought and the passion of the world's heart. She was the Godhead hid in heart of man, in the heart of man. She was the climbing of his soul to God. The cosmos flowered in her. She was its bed. So the bed is prepared by him, and she is the one who is flowering in that bed. She was the climbing of his soul. The cosmos flowered in her. It is that which smiles, which grows, which acquires sweetness because of her. She was its bed. It is in that bed the cosmos grows like a flower. She was time and the dreams of God in time. So she was time, at the same time the dreams of God. What is that? The time which can hold the dreams of God. She was space and the wideness of His days. He is, of course, God, God's days. From this she rose where time and space were not. She has gone beyond sthana and kala murta. She has gone beyond all those things. From this she rose where time and space were not. The superconscious was her native air. She always lives in the superconscious. Para, na, infinity was her movement's natural space. Eternity looked out from her on time. So infinity, Ananta, eternity, Brahman. Basically, they are the attributes of Brahman. She was all that thing. So Savitri's yoga completes with this. This is the final siddhi of Savitri. From this she rose where time and space were not. The subconscious was her native air. Infinity was her movement's natural space. Eternity looked out from her time. When she is these things, there is absolutely no question of the presence of death in them. In infinity, in eternity, death does not exist. Falsehood does not exist. Suffering does not exist. Ignorance does not exist. She is totally now out of all these inconscient born things, this suffering, in unawareness. Everything is gone now. In other words, Savitri is now ready to face death. Because no more death is. She is now ready to face death. And next day, Satyavana is going to die. But Savitri is now ready.
So it was for her, after this moment, it was for her more easy to face death.
Yeah, she is ready for death now. This is what we got. Next.
Because she knew that there is no more death.
She knows, but now physically she knows where. She has something to do with the world that she does not forget. She may be so, but whatever she is doing as the incarnate power is doing with that eternity and infinity, where it can, where there is no question of death being present. In other words, it is that condition by which she can conquer, she can overrule all falsehood, death, ignorance, etc. etc. She is not for herself, she is for a work here. Yeah, what you are saying is true, but it is in that sense. See, the cosmos flowered in her. It can flower fully only when she has removed death, suffering, misery, and all that thing. It is for cosmos. For her, there is no question of that, you see. And therefore now Savitri is ready to enter into the book of death, you see. Yes? Yeah, this we have done already, see. So, we have done all these things. So, it means that we have really completed part 2. We started with book 4, and now this is book 4, last book of the of the part 2. The birth and quest, book that is book 4, book 5, book of love, book of fate, 6, then book of yoga, 7, and book of death, last one.